Chapter 1. It is said that there was a beautiful little girl named Layla, who lived with her mother in a small village surrounded by a beautiful forest. She was nicknamed the Red-Cloaked Girl because she always loved to wear her red coat that her grandmother had given her on her birthday. One spring morning, her mother said to her after she finished making the cakes and putting them in a small basket, "My dear little girl." After Layla put on her red coat and carried the basket enthusiastically heading to the door of the house, her mother stopped her and said, "Be careful, Layla, not to stray from the road, and go directly to your grandmother's house, and when you arrive, greet her and be polite and friendly when talking to her." So the little girl kissed her mother and reassured her, saying, "Don't worry, Mom, I will be fine." Then she hurried out and adhered. Chapter 3. The wolf approached Layla and asked her, "What is your name, little girl?" She said, "My name is Layla, and the people of the village call me Little Red Riding Hood." So the wolf said, "Where are you going, Layla, at this early hour of the day?" She told him that she was going to see her sick grandmother, as her mother had asked her to, and that she had brought her a basket of cakes. The wolf said with a sly smile, "That's nice, Layla. You are an obedient girl." Layla did not feel the wolf's cunning for a moment, but she felt flattered and thought he was a kind creature like her. She smiled at him innocently, then said, "Thank you, wolf. You are a kind creature, and I would love for us to become friends." The wolf was happy because he had managed to deceive her and make her trust him. That would make it easier to carry out his plan. Then he seized the opportunity and said, "Why don't you tell me, my little girl, where your grandmother lives, so that we can race to get there and see who will arrive first?" Layla answered him innocently, "My grandmother lives in a small, distinctive wooden house at the end of the forest." The wolf said to her with a sly smile that never left his face, "Okay then, I will go this way, and you go the other way." The wolf ran as fast as possible, and in the meantime Layla was heading to her grandmother's house as well. But she saw on her way very beautiful flowers a short distance from the road. And because of her love for colorful flowers, Layla could not resist the beauty of those flowers, and she wanted to bring some of them to her sick grandmother. She knows how much her grandmother loves flowers too, and how happy it will make her feel and forget her illness. And she had not seen her grandmother for a while, and thought it would be a beautiful gift. And after a few moments of hesitation, Layla decided to ignore her mother's warning to her, and she thought that her grandmother's happiness with the flowers would make her mother forget what she had done. In the meantime, the wolf had found the grandmother's house, and Layla had not arrived yet. The wolf had lived in the forest for a long time and knew its roads well, so he took one of the short cuts and not rough roads, and when he arrived at the house, he hurried and knocked on the door, and the grandmother could not get out of bed because of her illness, so she asked from inside, "Who is knocking at the door?" The wolf said, trying to disguise his voice, "I am Layla, your granddaughter, my grandmother." The grandmother said hesitantly, ignoring her feeling of the strangeness of the voice, "Okay, here you go, my dear." The cunning wolf entered the house, and the grandmother was terrified when she saw him. She tried to scream for help, but no one heard her. The wolf grabbed her and locked her in the closet, and ordered her not to make a sound, or he would eat her. Then he took her coat and threw himself on her bed, disguised. He felt very excited while waiting for Layla to arrive so that he could successfully complete his plan. At this moment, Layla arrived at the grandmother's house and did not find the wolf there, but she did not care much about the matter, as she was still happy with the beautiful flowers she had picked for the grandmother, and began knocking on the door. "The last chapter," the wolf said, trying to imitate the grandmother's voice. "Who is at the door? Layla said excitedly. "I am Layla, Grandma. I have brought you a nice surprise," the wolf said. "Okay, here you go, dear." Layla entered and kissed her grandmother's head as usual, but she felt something suspicious that she attributed to the fact that she had not seen her grandmother for a while. Then she felt a strange calm. Usually, her grandmother would be happy to see her. The wolf interrupted the thoughts that were going through Layla's head, saying, "How beautiful are these flowers, Layla. Thank you, my love." Layla felt reassured for a moment and put the flowers in a glass of water that was on a small table next to the bed, after filling it with water. Then she returned to sit next to the bed and turned to her grandmother and noticed her strange appearance. So she innocently decided to ask her, "Grandma, why are your eyes so big?" The disguised wolf said, "So that I can see you well, my little one." Layla noticed another strange thing about her grandmother and asked again, "Why are your ears so big?" The wolf said cunningly, "So that I can hear your beautiful voice with them, my dear." Then Layla looked at the grandmother's mouth. "Grandma, why is your mouth so big?" The wolf said, while taking off the grandmother's clothes and baring his fangs, "So that I can eat you with it." The wolf wanted to pounce on Layla and eat her, so she screamed at the top of her voice, asking for help. A hunter who happened to be passing by the grandmother's house heard her screams, so the hunter ran and forcefully entered the house and fired his gun at the wolf and succeeded in killing him. Layla cried bitterly while searching for her grandmother with the hunter, and she kept crying until she found her in the closet. So the hunter helped her get her out of the closet, and poor Layla hugged her grandmother, feeling remorseful because she did not listen to her mother's will. And her grandmother told her that she had to abide by her mother's words in the coming days. So Layla wiped her tears and kissed her, and promised her that this would not happen again, and that she had learned a lesson that she would never forget. And finally, Layla and the grandmother thanked the hunter for saving them. And Layla stayed with the grandmother that day to take care of her, and she was grateful and happy that her grandmother was still well.